All right, music fans, welcome back. Harmless Dave here, talking about real music in real time for real people, just like you and just like me. Feeling a little feisty, and figured I'd weigh in on Dennis DeYoung weighing in on his successor, the guy who replaced him in Styx, Lawrence Gowan. Dennis calls him Larry Gowan. Oh, man. Larry spins a great keyboard, everybody. If you want a spinning keyboard playing keyboardist, then Larry Gowan is your man. If you want someone who sounds like Dennis DeYoung, Larry Gowan is not your man, and that's been my point for quite a long time, other than the fact that they fired Dennis DeYoung from Styx. They fired him because he got sick, so they fired him. And unlike Steve Perry, Dennis wanted back in. Dennis wanted his band back. This is his band. I'll continue to say it. He was there at the founding. Who's left? JY? Was JY there at the founding? No. Was Tommy Shaw there at the founding? No. So it's DeYoung's band, but you know, they stole the brand. They took it over. They made up a lot of stuff about Dennis, which, by the way, Dennis has been doing interviews for a couple of years now, and he's pretty much validated everything I've said. So for people who might want to attack my point of view, Dennis has been right there with me. Now, Dennis and we have not spoken, which is a disappointment because I was hoping, but you see, I'm too controversial because I'm not nice all the time. And I know this, and I've been told, you know, Dave, if you would just be nice about everything, you'd be the professor of rock part 2. And I'm like, can't do it, sorry. There's no production value here either. It's just me, the camera, the microphone, and sometimes that doesn't even work right. Anyway, Dennis was asked his opinion of the man who replaced him. Now, they make a point in the article to say, well, you know, Gowan has been in Styx for 22 years, which is longer than DeYoung's initial run with the band. Woo. Technically, you know, Styx broke up. They got back together again, and it seemed as though Dennis was waiting, if you read interviews. So I don't know if that's an accurate statement about 22 years. I guess you can say 22 years consecutively without a break. Good for Larry. Larry's doing well. But this is what Dennis says about Larry. Larry Gowan, and he calls him Larry, Larry Gowan is the best Larry Gowan on the planet, which is very diplomatic. No one's a better Larry Gowan than Larry. But Dennis says, I'm the best Dennis DeYoung still to this day. So very cool thing. But copying somebody, I just saw a 4-year-old Japanese girl doing all the Eddie Van Halen solos in her bedroom. You can get people to play. They are a dime a dozen. They really are. But singers, they've got DNA, baby. They've got DNA. And if you confused me vocally with Larry, I would be perplexed. Oh, and I've been saying this for a very long time, that in a rock band, when you replace someone and they have a pretty decent catalog, like Journey, supposedly the reason they didn't stick with Jeff Scott Soto is because he didn't sound like Steve Perry. Whereas Steve Augeri and Arnel Pineda are more in that traditional Steve Perry vocal register, all right? Larry Gowan does not sound like Dennis DeYoung at all. And there are people out there that sound like Dennis. The problem is they don't spin a keyboard, all right? And maybe they could learn to play keyboards, spin it, and kind of sound like Dennis, or not. I would prefer somebody who sounded more like Dennis, who didn't spin the keyboard around, who just played the keyboard and played it fairly proficiently. So Dennis goes on. Larry, he took the job. Actually, he stole it. The voice behind such Styx classics as Come Sail Away, this is Dennis DeYoung they're talking about, Best of Times, Pieces of Eight, and Babe. He knew what he was getting into, and he wears it well. He gets it. He's not a denier. He never has been. In fact, I know people on the inside who have told me that Larry wanted to play Mr. Roboto 20 years ago. Now, because of Larry's background, if you know his pedigree and the songs that he made famous up in Canada, Mr. Roboto is actually closer to what Larry was all about. Larry has said it because he liked it when it first came out, and he's not in the I've got to belong to a political party and have to be this dogma or ideology. Now, what's Dennis saying there? Well, dude, Styx is a rock band. We don't do Liza Minnelli. We don't do Barry Manilow. Remember the whole Tommy Shaw, Barry Manilow thing where Dennis was getting into Barry Manilow territory? You know, those pesky #1 songs like Babe, you know, you can't have too many of those. You got to get back to kicking some serious rear end, right? Because that's all rock bands are supposed to do, even though pretty much every 80s rock band worth its salt did rockers and ballads. Foreigner, Journey, Survivor, REO Speedwagon, just to name a few. Styx, I guess, you know, the other guys in Styx, they didn't want it to be that way. They didn't want to earn money. They didn't want any female fans. They just wanted to, you know, really rock out. Anyway, DeYoung goes on and he says, nobody even comes close to me as Dennis DeYoung. I search high and wide for the kid who appears on YouTube that just nails me. I haven't seen him. A couple of people get close. Now, I've mentioned that as well. There are some people out there, a couple on the Frontiers music label. Jim Peterick, I think, has worked with at least one of them. So you can go and search that out. Toby Hitchcock, I think, is a great singer. There are a few others. Danny Vaughn, I think, is a great singer. But do they spin keyboards? That is the question. If they don't, then they can't be in Styx. So there you have it. Anyway, thanks for watching. Don't forget to check out Dennis DeYoung's second album in the series, 26 East Volume 2. Sounds more like Styx than Styx these days, but hey, that's just one man's sort of way out there opinion. That would be me. All right, see you soon.